My beloved child, pause for a moment and take a deep breath, because this message did not reach you by accident. A divine warning has been released, and it has found its way to you at this exact second for a reason greater than logic, greater than coincidence. The heavens are not silent anymore. 5 angels are moving urgently around your life right now, and Archangel Michael himself is standing at the center of this revelation. What they are trying to show you is not small, not ordinary, and not something your family ever wanted to come into the light. Listen carefully. This is not fear. This is clarity. For a long time, you have felt different. Even as a child, there was a sense that you did not fully belong, that something about your story never quite added up. You may have questioned why certain truths were avoided, why certain topics were shut down the moment you asked, why your presence sometimes triggered discomfort in others. That was not in your imagination. That was spiritual tension. That was a secret resisting exposure. Right now, the first angel is assigned to your memory. This angel is stirring moments from your past that suddenly feel connected. Things that once seemed random are starting to form a pattern. The silence, the half-answers, the emotional distance, the unexplained rules placed on you and not on others. This angel is not here to confuse you. It is here to remind you. Your story was edited. The second angel is guarding your identity. This angel has been protecting you from fully discovering the truth before you were strong enough to handle it. Had you known earlier, it could have broken you. That is why delays happened. That is why certain doors stayed closed. Divine timing is not denial. It is protection. And now, that protection has shifted into revelation. Archangel Michael steps forward here, not as a gentle whisper, but as a commander of truth. His presence signals that a battle has already been fought on your behalf. There were attempts to suppress who you are, to shape you into something smaller, quieter, more controllable. Michael's sword was raised not to harm, but to cut through deception. And once his sword moves, nothing hidden can remain hidden for long. The third angel is assigned to your family line. This is where the warning becomes clear. There is a secret connected to your role, your birth, or your spiritual assignment that was intentionally buried. Not always out of cruelty, sometimes out of fear. Fear of a change. Fear of exposure. Fear of losing control. Your family may have believed silence was protection, but silence became a prison, and you were the one expected to carry it. You may have felt like the black sheep, the observer, the one who sees too much. That is because you were never meant to be blind. You were placed in that family as a revealer, not a follower. And when a revealer wakes up, the entire system shakes. And now listen closely, because this part matters. The warning is not about punishment. It is about preparation. The angels are not saying, "Be afraid." They are saying, "Be ready." Ready to see people differently. Ready to understand why certain relationships felt conditional. Ready to release guilt that was never yours to carry. The fourth angel is working on your emotions. This angel is calming the storm that may rise as truth approaches. You might already feel it. Waves of emotion without a clear cause, sudden exhaustion, or moments of deep clarity followed by confusion. This is the adjustment phase. Truth changes internal chemistry. The angel is ensuring that when the revelation lands, it strengthens you instead of shattering you. And then there is the fifth angel. This angel is silent. It stands at the threshold of your future. Its assignment is activation. Once the secret is fully revealed, whether through a conversation, a realization, or a divine confirmation, this angel will move. And when it does, your life will not return to how it was. Old roles will fall away. Expectations placed on you by others will lose their power. You will finally understand why your path has always felt separate. Archangel Michael is watching your response right now. Not your fear, but your willingness. Will you stay open? Will you resist the urge to minimize what you are sensing? Because the warning is clear, ignoring this moment will delay your breakthrough, but honoring it will accelerate your freedom. You were never meant to live under someone else's version of your story. Something is about to be exposed, not to shame anyone, but to release you. And once you see it, you will never again doubt why you are the way you are, why you feel called to more, and why your spirit has always refused to settle. This is only the beginning, my precious one. As this message continues, something within you may already feel stirred, like a door slowly opening that has been locked for years. That feeling is not imagination. It is recognition. The divine warning does not arrive all at once. It unfolds layer by layer, because your spirit can now handle what your mind once could not. Archangel Michael remains near you in this moment, steady and alert, ensuring that what is revealed does not overwhelm you but empowers you. There is a reason the truth began surfacing now and not earlier. You have reached a level of inner maturity, even if life still feels uncertain. You have survived confusion, rejection, and moments of deep loneliness without losing your compassion. That alone disqualified the enemy from silencing you. The warning you are receiving is not only about what was hidden, but about what was preserved inside you despite everything. As you listen, notice how your body responds. A sense of heaviness lifting, a subtle clarity forming. This is the sign that dissection is losing its grip. Many people never question the stories handed to them by family, by tradition, by silence. What you did, even when you couldn't explain it, your soul kept asking, why? That question is sacred, and heaven always answers sacred questions. Archangel Michael now draws your attention to patterns you lived through. Moments where you felt pushed aside right when you were growing. Times when your voice was softened, redirected, or ignored. You may have been praised for obedience, but discouraged from independence. This was not random. When someone carries truth, systems built on secrecy feel threatened. So they attempt control before exposure happens. But hear this clearly, control is temporary. Truth is eternal. The warning carries another layer. You are being prepared for conversations that may come suddenly. Someone may speak unexpectedly. A document, a memory, or a confession may surface. Do not rush to react. Do not confront in anger. Archangel Michael's instruction is calm discernment. Let truth speak for itself. When it does, it needs no defense. You might be wondering why this matters now. Why revisit the past when you are trying to build a future? Because the future you are stepping into requires authenticity. You cannot carry forward an identity shaped by omission. The angels are not asking you to relive pain. They are asking you to reclaim authority over your own story. There is also a message here about your voice. For too long, you may have felt unseen or unheard. This message is reminding you that your voice carries weight, even when it shakes. Especially when it shakes. You were never meant to remain silent to keep peace. You were meant to bring clarity, and clarity often disrupts false peace. As this resonates, take a moment to anchor yourself. If this message is reaching your heart, let it be known. Support the flow of this revelation by engaging with it. Like this message, share it with someone who needs confirmation. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready for truth, and subscribe so you stay connected to what is unfolding. When you support this space, you help these messages reach others who are still questioning their reality in silence. Archangel Michael is also drawing a boundary around you now. This boundary is spiritual and emotional. It prevents guilt manipulation, fear-based reactions, and old emotional hooks from pulling you back. You may notice that certain comments or behaviors no longer affect you the same way. That is growth. That is authority returning. There is something else important you must understand. The secret was never meant to define you negatively. In fact, it hides your strength. You endure confusion and still chose kindness. You navigated uncertainty and still searched for meaning. That is not weakness. That is resilience. And resilience is the mark of someone chosen for greater responsibility. Do not rush the process. Revelation is a journey, not a shock. Each piece arrives exactly when your spirit is ready. Trust that timing. Trust the protection surrounding you. Trust that what was hidden cannot hurt you anymore because you are no longer powerless. If you feel an urge to step away, resist it gently. There is more clarity ahead, and it connects everything you have lived through so far. Stay present with this message, because what unfolds next will make the earlier confusion finally make sense. My cherished soul, as this message deepens, a sacred hush falls over the spirit realm. This is the moment where understanding begins to replace confusion. Archangel Michael stands closer now, not to fight, but to witness your awakening. When heaven leans in like this, it means something ancient and intentional is being restored inside you. The divine warning was never meant to alarm you. It was meant to realign you. You may have noticed that your life has always carried an unusual intensity. Even during calm seasons, there was a sense of anticipation, as if something important was waiting to unfold. That feeling came from knowing, at a soul level, that you were living with incomplete information. Not lies spoken aloud, but truths withheld. And withheld truth has weight. It presses on the heart quietly, shaping emotions without explanation. The angels reveal now that the secret connected to you affected more than just circumstances. It affected perception. You may have been labeled incorrectly, misunderstood, or underestimated. Yet through all of that, something within you remained unbroken. That is because your spirit knew it was more than the role it was given. Heaven never forgets its own, even when people do. Archangel Michael now addresses the question you have asked silently for years. Was it me? And the answer is clear and firm. No. You were not the problem. You were the reminder. Your presence triggered unresolved truths in others, and instead of facing them, they avoided you, reshaped narratives, or kept distance. This was never about your worth. It was about their fear of what your awareness might uncover. As this realization settles, you may feel grief. Grief for lost time. Grief for conversations that never happened. Grief for the version of yourself that kept trying to earn clarity. Allow that grief to pass through you. Do not suppress it. Even angels honor mourning when it leads to healing. What you are releasing now makes room for strength you have not yet used. The warning also carries a promise. Once truth surfaces, you will no longer seek validation from those who could never give it honestly. You will stop explaining yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. This is liberation, and liberation always follows revelation. Archangel Michael shows you a vision of yourself standing steadier, speaking less, but meaning more, choosing peace without apology. That version of you is not distant. It is emerging, and it emerges because you are finally seeing the full picture. The secret loses its power the moment you understand it did not define you. Something else is happening quietly. Your intuition is sharpening. You may notice that you sense motives more clearly, that your discernment feels faster, cleaner. This is a gift returning to you. You were always intuitive, but self-doubt dimmed it. Now, clarity restores it. And with it comes confidence that does not need permission. The angels emphasize this moment because many people turn back right here. They feel the weight of truth and decide comfort is easier than freedom. But you did not come this far to retreat. You did not endure confusion to remain uncertain. Heaven has already marked this transition. Archangel Michael leaves you with a charge. Do not weaponize this truth, and do not hide it either. Let it change you quietly. Let it guide your choices. Let it inform your boundaries. You do not owe explanations, but you do owe yourself honesty. If this message is stirring your spirit, honor it. Type "I receive the truth" in the comments if this is speaking directly to you. Blessing code 639 has just been released. When truth is released, it must travel. When light is revealed, it must be shared. I am speaking to those who feel called to help carry this message beyond this moment. The word says that when seed is sown into good ground, the harvest multiplies beyond measure. This is that ground. This is that moment. As you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a divine assignment. I declare that every gift you release will return as clarity, protection, and unexpected favor in your own life. Do not delay obedience. Act now, and let heaven respond. My beloved one, now that the truth has begun to breathe again, something subtle but powerful is shifting inside you. This is the stage where awareness turns into alignment. Archangel Michael is not only guarding you now, he is guiding you. He knows that revelation without direction can feel heavy, so he steps in as a stabilizing force, ensuring that what you learn becomes wisdom, not burden. You may notice that after the last realization, silence feels different. It is no longer empty, it is informative. In quiet moments, thoughts arise that feel clearer, calmer, and more focused. This is not withdrawal, this is integration. Your spirit is reorganizing itself around truth instead of assumption. And when that happens, certain distractions naturally fall away. There is an important shift taking place in how you see responsibility. For a long time, you may have carried emotional weight that did not belong to you. You felt responsible for keeping peace, for maintaining balance, for absorbing tension so others would not have to. That role was assigned to you without your consent. And now, Archangel Michael is removing it. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours. Compassion does not require self-erasure. Love does not demand silence. You are learning the difference now, and that lesson is freeing more energy than you realize. The angels show that the secrets surrounding you also shape how you approach relationships. You may have overgiven, over-explained, or stayed longer than necessary in places that felt emotionally unsafe. That pattern is ending. Not because you are becoming cold, but because you are becoming clear. Clarity protects without hardening the heart. Archangel Michael brings your attention to timing again. You might feel an urge to act, to speak, to set things straight immediately. Cause not everything needs to be addressed at once. Wisdom knows when to speak and when to wait. The truth does not expire. It will still be true tomorrow. Allow your actions to come from peace, not urgency. Something else is being restored. Trust in yourself. For years, you may have second-guessed your instincts, especially when they conflicted with what you were told. You learned to doubt your own perception. That doubt was learned, not natural. And learned things can be unlearned. Each time you choose to trust your inner knowing now, you reclaim a piece of your authority. This stage may also bring unexpected emotional waves. Not because you are regressing, but because healing is layered. Old memories may surface, not to hurt you, but to exit you. Let them pass through gently. Do not analyze them endlessly. Observe them, acknowledge them, and release them. Archangel Michael's presence ensures they do not linger longer than necessary. There is also recalibration happening in your expectations. You are no longer waiting for permission to be yourself. You are no longer seeking approval to move forward. This does not make you rebellious. It makes you aligned. Alignment feels quiet, confident, and steady. It does not argue. It simply chooses. The angels emphasize that you are entering a phase where your choices matter more than explanations, where your peace matters more than being understood. This is maturity of the spirit, and with it comes a new kind of strength, the strength to walk away without resentment, to say no without guilt, and to say yes without fear. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like clarity that prevents you from entering situations that would drain you. Sometimes it looks like delayed responses, missed connections, or closed doors that save you from repeating old cycles. Trust these moments. They are not obstacles, they are shields. As this settles, you may notice that your sense of purpose feels closer, even if it is not fully defined yet. That is because purpose is not always revealed in detail first. Sometimes it is revealed as direction, a pull toward authenticity, a resistance to what no longer fits, a desire to live honestly, even if it means living differently. This is the quiet power of this stage. Nothing flashy, loving force, just a deep, internal knowing that you are no longer the person you were when confusion ruled. You are not who you were when silence felt safer than truth. You are stepping into a version of yourself that does not need secrets to survive. Archangel Michael remains near, not because danger is coming, but because strength is emerging. And strength, when new, deserves guidance. Let this phase complete its work. Let clarity settle into confidence. What is forming now will support everything that comes next. My dear one, as you move deeper into this unfolding, you may begin to sense a quiet separation happening within you. Not a separation from people and anger, but a separation from old versions of yourself that were formed in survival mode. This is the phase where truth stops being something you understand and starts becoming something you live. Archangel Michael is present again, steady and watchful, because this is where many hesitate. Growth here feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity can feel like loss before it feels like freedom. You may notice that certain conversations no longer interest you. Certain environments feel heavy without explanation. Certain expectations placed on you feel intrusive instead of normal. This is not arrogance. This is awareness. When your spirit aligns with truth, it naturally resists what is misaligned. And resistance, in this case, is protection. There is an internal recalibration happening now. Your values are shifting subtly. What once felt urgent may now feel irrelevant. What once felt necessary may now feel optional. This is not confusion. It is refinement. You are no longer operating from the need to prove, perform, or please. You are beginning to operate from discernment. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something important here. Growth does not always announce itself with confidence. Sometimes it shows up as uncertainty, as pauses, as moments where you choose stillness instead of reaction. That stillness is not weakness. It is restraint. and restraint is a sign of strength that knows it does not need to rush. You might also feel a strange mix of relief and sadness. Relief because things are finally making sense. Sadness because clarity confirms what you once hoped was not true. Allow both. Healing is honest, not one-dimensional. You are allowed to grieve what should have been while still appreciating what is becoming. This stage may also reveal how much you adapted yourself to fit expectations that were never aligned with who you truly are. You learned to soften your voice, to question your intuition, to compromise your needs. Not because you were weak, but because you were trying to belong. Now, belonging is being redefined. It is no longer about fitting in. It is about being real. Archangel Michael highlights a key shift. You are no longer asking, "How do I keep this together?" You are asking, "What is true for me?" That question changes everything. It changes how you love. It changes how you commit. It changes how you walk away. There may be moments now where you feel exposed, as if without old masks you are somehow vulnerable. But the opposite is true. Authenticity is armor. When you stop hiding, there is nothing left for others to uncover or use against you. Transparency disarms manipulation. Clarity dissolves confusion. Pay attention to how your body responds during this time. You may feel lighter in some moments, tired in others. Healing requires energy. Integration takes effort. Rest when needed. You are not falling behind. You are stabilizing. Archangel Michael reminds you that you do not need to announce your transformation. Let it speak through consistency. Let it show in how you choose peace over drama, truth over convenience, alignment over approval. People will notice without explanation, and some will resist, not because you are wrong, but because your growth challenges their comfort. This is also the stage where boundaries become non-negotiable. Not harsh boundaries, but clear ones. You will find it easier to say no without justification. Easier to step back without guilt. Easier to protect your energy without apology. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. You are learning to guard what has been restored. The angels emphasize patience here. Do not rush to define everything. Not every realization needs immediate action. Some truths need time to settle so they can guide you wisely. Trust the pace. Divine timing is not slow, it is precise. As this part of the journey unfolds, you may realize something profound. You are not rebuilding yourself from nothing. You are uncovering who you were before confusion asked you to change. That original clarity is returning. Quietly, steadily, honestly. Archangel Michael remains beside you, not as a warrior now, but as a guardian of your alignment. He is ensuring that what is forming within you is not shaken by doubt or outside pressure. This foundation is being laid carefully because it will support everything that comes next. You are no longer moving blindly. You are moving deliberately. And that changes the entire direction of your life. My precious one, this phase brings a noticeable shift in how you carry yourself through the world. It may feel subtle on the outside, but internally, something firm has taken root. This is where understanding becomes embodied. You are no longer just aware of the truth. You are standing on it. Archangel Michael remains close, not because there is danger, but because this is the stage where confidence replaces confusion, and confidence must be guided so it does not harden into defensiveness. You may realize that your reactions are changing. Situations that once pulled you into emotional spirals now meet a calmer response. Words that once wounded you now pass through without sticking. This does not mean you feel less. It means you are no longer governed by what once controlled you. Emotional regulation is not numbness. It is mastery. There is a deeper lesson unfolding now about power. For a long time, power may have felt external to you, held by others through approval, silence, or control of information. That illusion is dissolving. True power is internal. It comes from knowing who you are and acting in alignment with the truth, regardless of whether others understand or agree. Archangel Michael draws your attention to your voice again, but this time not as something waiting to be heard, but as something already authoritative. You may speak less now, but when you do, your words carry clarity. You are no longer explaining yourself to be accepted. You are expressing yourself because it is honest. That distinction matters. This stage may also test your commitment to your own growth. Old patterns may attempt to resurface, not because they still have power, but because they are familiar. Familiarity can be comforting even when it is unhealthy. Recognize this without judgment. Awareness is enough to break the cycle. You might feel moments of loneliness here, even surrounded by people. This is temporary. You are transitioning between identities, and transitions often feel isolating. Do not mistake solitude for abandonment. This quiet space is where alignment strengthens. Archangel Michael emphasizes discernment now more than ever. Not every invitation deserves a response. Not every question deserves an answer. Not every relationship deserves access to your inner world. You are allowed to choose where your energy goes. That choice is not selfish. It is sacred. As this message resonates, it is important to anchor it in action. If this message is helping you see clearly, support its movement. Like this message so it reaches those still questioning in silence. Share it with someone who needs reassurance. Leave a comment declaring that you are stepping into truth. Subscribe to stay connected as this journey continues. Your engagement is not small. It amplifies light. Archangel Michael also wants you to recognize how far you have come. There was a time when you doubted your perceptions, your feelings, your worth. That time is ending. You are no longer negotiating with self-doubt. You are setting terms with self-respect. This is where responsibility shifts inward. You stop waiting for others to acknowledge what you already know. You stop hoping for apologies that may never come. Closure is no longer something you seek externally. It is something you grant yourself. And when you do, peace follows naturally. You may notice that your priorities are becoming clearer. What once felt confusing now feels obvious. What once felt urgent now feels optional. This clarity allows you to move with intention instead of impulse. Intentional living is one of the greatest forms of freedom. Archangel Michael reassures you that you are not becoming distant. You are becoming selective. There is a difference. Selectivity protects growth. It ensures that what is being built inside you is not compromised by environments that cannot support it. As you continue, stay attentive. There are still layers to uncover, and each one connects the past to the future with greater understanding. Do not rush ahead mentally. Be present here. This is where strength consolidates. Hold on, because what unfolds next will connect your personal awakening to a much larger purpose. This is where the meaning behind everything you endured becomes unmistakably clear. My beloved one, now the journey turns inward in a deeper way. This is the stage where meaning begins to surface behind everything you have lived through. Not just understanding, but purpose. Archangel Michael stands beside you again, not as a shield this time, but as a witness. A witness to the strength that was forged quietly while you thought you were merely surviving. You are beginning to realize that nothing in your life was wasted. Not the confusion, not the silence, not the moments where you questioned your place in the world. Each experience shaped your perception in ways that could not have been taught any other way. What once felt like disadvantage was actually preparation. There is a realization settling into your spirit now. You see things others miss. You sense undercurrents beneath words. You notice shifts before they happen. This awareness was sharpened by living in uncertainty. While others were handed clarity, you learned discernment. And discernment is far more powerful. Archangel Michael reveals that your past did not just shape you, it trained you. Trained you to listen deeply. Trained you to read between lines. Trained you to remain compassionate even when clarity was denied. This is why people often come to you for understanding, even if they never acknowledged your struggles. Your presence feels grounding because you learn to find stability within. You may also notice that you are no longer drawn to superficial explanations. You crave depth, truth, substance, conversations that matter. This is because your spirit has outgrown shallow narratives. You are no longer interested in appearances, you are interested in essence. This stage brings a quiet confidence that does not announce itself. You are no longer trying to be seen. You are simply being. And that authenticity carries a gravity of its own. People may begin to respond to you differently, even without knowing why. Some will feel drawn. Others may feel uncomfortable. Both reactions are natural when someone steps fully into alignment. Archangel Michael reminds you that you do not need to manage others' reactions. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to remain honest with yourself. When you do, your life becomes simpler, even if it is not always easier. There may still be unanswered questions, and that is okay. Not every truth arrives with details. Some truths arrive as peace. Some arrive as certainty without explanation. Trust those signals. They are guidance. You might feel a growing sense that your life is meant to impact others in ways you once underestimated. Not through grand gestures necessarily, but through presence, words, and example. You understand pain without glorifying it. You understand healing without rushing it. That balance is rare. Archangel Michael shows you that this awareness is not accidental. It positions you as someone who can walk alongside others without judgment. Someone who does not minimize struggle, but does not become lost in it either. This is quiet leadership. It does not demand attention, but it commands respect. As this realization deepens, you may feel a renewed sense of responsibility toward your own life. Not pressure, but care. You begin to treat your time, energy, and emotions as valuable resources. You no longer give them away carelessly. This is not fear-based. It is wisdom-based. There is also forgiveness happening at a deeper level now. Not necessarily reconciliation, but release. You begin to understand that others acted from their limitations, not your lack. This understanding does not excuse harm, but it frees you from carrying it forward. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not behind. There is no timeline you failed to meet. Your path required a different pace because it required depth. Depth takes time, and what you are becoming could not have formed any faster. You may sense a quiet anticipation building again, similar to what you felt earlier in life, but different now. It is not anxious. It is grounded. It feels like readiness. That is because you are approaching a stage where what you have integrated begins to express itself outwardly in meaningful ways. Do not rush this transition. Allow it to unfold naturally. Stay attentive. Stay honest. Stay aligned. What is coming next will not feel foreign. It will feel familiar, like something you have always known was waiting. Archangel Michael remains present as this phase completes, honoring the resilience that carried you here. You are no longer defined by what was hidden. You are defined by what has been revealed within you. And that revelation is becoming a foundation strong enough to support what is about to emerge. My precious soul, this is the moment where everything you have sensed begins to crystallize into direction. Not pressure, not demand, but alignment. Archangel Michael steps forward again, and his presence now feels different. It feels affirming, like a quiet nod from heaven that says, "Yes, this is it. You are seeing clearly now." This phase is not about learning new truths, but about trusting the truth you already carry. You may notice that your inner dialogue has changed. Where there was once self-questioning, there is now self-respect. Where there was once hesitation, there is now discernment. You are no longer arguing with your intuition. You are listening to it. That alone marks a powerful transition. This is also where the secret that once felt heavy begins to lose its emotional charge. It no longer defines you. It informs you, but it does not control you. You are able to think about it without spiraling, to acknowledge it without reopening wounds. That is healing. And healing does not erase the past. It places it in its proper position. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something vital here. The reason this truth was revealed gradually is because your destiny requires stability. You were never meant to act from shock or emotion. You were meant to act from clarity. And clarity has now settled into your spirit. You may feel a stronger sense of self-trust than ever before. Decisions come easier. Boundaries feel natural. You no longer over-explain your choices. You simply make them. This is not detachment. This is grounded confidence. And grounded confidence is difficult to manipulate. There is also a noticeable shift in how you perceive your family story. You are no longer trapped inside it. You can see it objectively, with compassion, but without self-blame. This perspective is freeing. It allows you to keep what is valuable and release what is not. You are no longer obligated to carry generational weight that was never assigned to you by heaven. Archangel Michael highlights that this is where many people finally step into emotional independence. Not isolation, but independence. You stop seeking emotional permission to be who you are. You stop editing yourself to avoid discomfort in others. You understand that truth spoken gently is still truth, and silence for the sake of comfort is no longer an option for you. As this settles, you may notice a subtle joy returning. Not excitement, but peace. Peace that does not depend on circumstances. Peace that comes from alignment. This peace is a sign that you are no longer resisting who you are becoming. This stage also brings responsibility. Not burden, but stewardship. You are becoming aware that your clarity can help others who are still lost in confusion. Not by force, not by preaching, but by example. Your way of being becomes a quiet invitation for others to examine their own truths. Archangel Michael assures you that you are not meant to rush ahead. Stay present. Integrate fully. Let this clarity stabilize you before you move into the next expression of your life. What comes next will require this foundation. If this message is confirming what you already felt deep inside, acknowledge it. Type "I am awakening" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 845 has just been activated. When revelation flows, it is meant to reach beyond one soul. This message is part of a living stream, carrying light into places where silence still dominates. I am speaking directly to those who feel the pull to support this divine movement. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are placing oil into a lamp that guides others out of confusion. The word declares that those who water will themselves be watered, and I release that promise over every giver now. Let your support be an act of obedience, not hesitation. Move as the Spirit leads, and watch how heaven responds in your life. My beloved one, as this journey continues, you may begin to notice a new kind of steadiness settling into your life. Not the kind that comes from having all the answers, but the kind that comes from trusting yourself even when answers are still unfolding. This is a sacred transition. Archangel Michael stands near again, quietly affirming that you are no longer reacting to life. You are responding to it with wisdom. You are stepping into a phase where your past no longer pulls you backward, but gently informs how you move forward. The memories that once carried emotional weight now feel lighter, not because they disappeared, but because they have been understood. Understanding dissolves confusion, and confusion was never meant to be your permanent state. You may realize that you no longer feel the need to revisit old conversations in your mind. The mental loops are breaking. The what-ifs and if-onlys are losing their grip. This is a sign that closure has taken root internally. Closure does not require agreement from others. It requires acceptance within yourself. And that acceptance is now present. Archangel Michael reveals that this stage is about embodiment. You are not just aware of truth, you are living from it. Your choices reflect it. Your boundaries protect it. Your calm confirms it. This embodiment creates a quiet authority that cannot be challenged easily because it is not based on opinion. It is based on alignment. There is also a refinement happening in how you relate to time. You are less rushed, less anxious about outcomes. You understand now that forcing clarity only creates resistance. Allowing clarity invites flow. This patience is not passive, it is powerful. It shows trust in divine timing and in your own preparedness. You may also notice a deeper sense of gratitude emerging. Gratitude not just for what went right, but for what shaped you. Even the difficult moments are now seen through a different lens. They are no longer failures or losses. They are teachers that sharpen your discernment and strengthen your resilience. Archangel Michael emphasizes that this maturity did not come easily, and it did not come by chance. It came through endurance, through choosing to keep your heart open when it would have been easier to close it, through choosing integrity when shortcuts were available. This integrity is now becoming visible in your life in subtle but meaningful ways. People may begin to treat you differently, some with newfound respect, others with distance. This is natural. When someone changes internally, the dynamics around them adjust. Do not interpret this as rejection. It is simply realignment. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into this next phase, and that is okay. You are also becoming more comfortable with silence. Not awkward silence, but grounded silence. The kind that does not need to be filled. This silence allows you to hear your inner guidance more clearly. It creates space for wisdom to surface naturally. Archangel Michael reminds you that you are not required to prove your growth. Growth speaks for itself. It shows in how you handle conflict, in how you prioritize peace, in how you choose honesty even when it is inconvenient. These choices are building a life that feels authentic rather than performative. There may still be moments of doubt, but they no longer control you. They pass through like clouds instead of settling like storms. This is emotional resilience. It does not mean you are unaffected. It means you are not undone. This stage also invites you to look ahead without fear. The future no longer feels like a threat or a test. It feels like an open space where you can move intentionally. You are no longer bracing yourself for disappointment. You are allowing yourself to expect alignment. Archangel Michael assures you that this confidence is not pride. It is self-trust restored, and self-trust is essential for what comes next. You are approaching a point where your clarity will be asked to express itself more outwardly, through decisions, changes, and commitments that reflect who you truly are. For now, remain present. Honor how far you have come. Do not rush to define the next chapter before this one fully settles. Integration is just as important as revelation. What you are stabilizing now will support everything that follows. You are no longer walking in uncertainty. You are walking in awareness. And awareness, when grounded in truth, becomes one of the strongest foundations a life can stand on. My precious one, you are now standing at a threshold where inner clarity begins to shape outer direction. This is not a sudden leap, but a deliberate step. Archangel Michael is present again, firm and steady, because this phase requires conscious choice. You are no longer being carried forward by circumstances. You are beginning to choose your path with intention. And intention changes everything. You may notice that opportunities now feel different. Instead of chasing them, you evaluate them. Instead of saying yes automatically, you pause and discern. This is wisdom in motion. You are no longer motivated by fear of missing out, but by alignment. What aligns stays. What doesn't quietly falls away. There is a strong sense now that you cannot return to who you were before this awakening. Not because that version was wrong, but because it was incomplete. You have outgrown survival-based decision-making. You are no longer reacting from old wounds. You are responding from healed awareness. That shift alone protects you from repeating cycles that once strained you. Archangel Michael highlights that this is the stage where confidence becomes visible through action. Not loud action, but consistent action. The way you show up changes. The way you commit changes. You begin to honor your time, your energy, and your boundaries as sacred. This is not rigidity. It is respect. You may feel a growing desire to simplify your life. Less noise. Less obligation. Less emotional clutter. This is natural. Clarity craves simplicity. When the inner world becomes organized, the outer world often follows. You may start letting go of commitments that no longer resonate, even if they once felt important. This is not irresponsibility. This is alignment. There is also a deepening sense of self-responsibility here. You stop waiting for others to understand you. You stop expecting validation to arrive before you move forward. You understand now that self-trust must come first. When it does, everything else aligns more easily. Archangel Michael wants you to recognize how powerful this moment is. You are no longer seeking permission to be who you are. You are no longer shrinking to fit expectations built on outdated narratives. You are choosing truth over comfort, clarity over convenience. These choices may feel quiet, but they are transformative. As this message continues to reach you, anchor it through action. If this message is resonating, engage with it fully. Like this message so it continues to reach those who need clarity. Share it with someone who may be standing at a similar crossroads. Leave a comment affirming that you are choosing alignment over fear. Subscribe and stay connected, because what unfolds next builds directly on what is forming now. When you participate, you become part of the flow, not just a listener. There is also a test of consistency here. Not a test from heaven, but from life. Will you honor what you know even when it is inconvenient? Will you maintain boundaries even when old dynamics try to pull you back? This is where integrity solidifies. Integrity is not about perfection. It is about congruence between what you know and how you live. Archangel Michael reassures you that you are supported in this. You are not walking this path alone. Guidance is available, often through subtle nudges rather than dramatic signs. Pay attention to what feels peaceful, not just what feels exciting. Peace is a reliable compass now. You may notice that your emotional reactions are short-lived. Frustration passes faster. Doubt resolves quicker. This is not avoidance. It is resilience. You are learning to process without dwelling. That skill will serve you well in the next phase. There is also an invitation here to trust momentum. You do not need to force progress. Progress is already happening through your consistent alignment. Small, honest choices compound over time. This is how sustainable change is built. Archangel Michael emphasizes that what you are building now is not just for this moment. It is for your future self. The self who will look back and be grateful you chose clarity when confusion was familiar. The self who will walk confidently because you laid a solid foundation now. Before you drift away, stay with this message a little longer, because what comes next ties everything together in a way you may not expect. This next unfolding carries insight that will bring even deeper understanding to why this entire journey began in the first place. My beloved soul, as this message continues, you are entering a space of deep internal harmony. This is where everything you have realized, released, and reclaimed begins to settle into a stable rhythm. Not excitement, not urgency, but certainty. Archangel Michael remains present, calm and watchful, because this stage is about consolidation. What has been revealed is now becoming rooted. You may notice that your inner world feels quieter than it used to. Not empty but ordered. Thoughts no longer clash the way they once did. Emotions rise and fall without overwhelming you. This calm is not accidental. It is the result of alignment. When truth and identity finally agree, peace follows naturally. There is an important shift happening now in how you perceive yourself within the larger picture of life. You no longer see yourself as someone reacting to events, but as someone participating consciously in their own journey. This awareness brings responsibility, but it also brings freedom. You understand now that you have choice, even when circumstances are limited. Archangel Michael draws your attention to the strength of consistency. Transformation is not proven in moments of clarity alone, but in how you live once clarity becomes normal. You are beginning to embody your values without effort. Integrity no longer feels like discipline. It feels like instinct. This is a sign that growth has integrated fully. You may also realize that you are no longer carrying resentment the way you once did. Not because everything was resolved, but because you have resolved yourself. Resentment fades when you stop expecting others to become who they are not ready to be. Acceptance does not excuse behavior. It releases you from its grip. This stage brings a refined sense of discernment. You are able to engage without absorbing. You can listen without losing yourself. You can care without compromising your boundaries. This balance is rare, and it is the result of the journey you have walked. Many people either harden or collapse. You have learned to remain open and grounded at the same time. Archangel Michael reminds you that this balance will be essential going forward. You are moving into a season where your presence itself becomes influential, not through control or persuasion, but through steadiness. People are drawn to those who are at peace with themselves. That peace becomes an unspoken invitation. You may notice that you are less interested in explaining your growth to others. Words feel unnecessary. Your life speaks. Your choices speak. Your calm speaks. This is maturity. When something is real, it does not need constant defense. There is also a deepening trust in divine timing now. You are no longer trying to rush outcomes or force clarity. You understand that what is meant to align will align without pressure. Distrust reduces anxiety and opens space for creativity, intuition, and presence. Archangel Michael shows you that your story is no longer centered on what was hidden. It is centered on what was revealed within you. The past no longer defines your identity. It informs your wisdom. You carry it lightly now, without bitterness, without denial. You may feel a growing sense of readiness, not for a specific event, but for responsibility. Responsibility for your own truth, your own peace, your own direction. This readiness is not loud. It is quiet confidence, and quiet confidence is unshakable. There may still be moments where echoes of old doubt surface. When they do, you recognize them for what they are, remnants, not reality. I no longer dictate your behavior. They pass, and you remain. Archangel Michael assures you that this steadiness is not the end of the journey. It is the foundation for what comes next. You are no longer being prepared through disruption. You are being prepared through stability. That is a significant shift. As this part of the message settles, take a moment to recognize yourself. Not with pride, but with acknowledgement. You did the inner work. You stayed present through discomfort. You chose honesty over denial. These choices matter more than you know. You are standing now in a place where the future does not feel threatening or uncertain. It feels open. It feels responsive. It feels aligned. And that is because you are no longer disconnected from yourself. Archangel Michael remains near, not because guidance is lacking, but because honor is being given. Honor to the resilience that carried you here. Honor to the clarity that now leads you forward. What comes next will feel less like revelation and more like confirmation. Stay grounded. Stay present. One final unfolding remains, and it brings completion to everything you have sensed along the way. My beloved child, this is the moment of completion. Not an ending, but a sealing. Everything you have sensed, questioned, released, and reclaimed now comes into quiet alignment. Archangel Michael stands before you one final time in this message, not with warning, not with urgency, but with recognition. Heaven recognizes what you have become. You are no longer searching for truth. You are standing in it. The divine warning that began this journey was never meant to frighten you. It was meant to wake you. And now, you are awake in a way that cannot be undone. The secret that once hovered over your life like a shadow has lost its authority. It no longer defines your place in the world. It no longer shapes your decisions from behind the scenes. You have stepped into conscious authorship of your own life. You may notice that you no longer feel the need to revisit the past for answers. The answers have integrated into wisdom. Wisdom does not shout. It guides quietly. And that quiet guidance is now active within you every day, influencing how you choose, how you respond, how you rest, and how you move forward. Archangel Michael makes something very clear here. You were never meant to expose truth to create division. You were meant to embody truth to create freedom. And freedom begins within. You have done that work. You chose awareness over denial. Courage over comfort. Integrity over silence. These choices have shifted your spiritual position permanently. There is a noticeable peace around you now. Not because life is perfect, but because you are no longer at war with yourself. Inner conflict has resolved into inner clarity, and clarity creates stability. Stability creates momentum. Momentum creates a future that feels honest. You may still be surrounded by people who do not fully understand your journey. That is okay. Understanding is not required for alignment. You no longer need agreement to move forward. You carry your own authority now, and it does not depend on validation. Archangel Michael affirms that your discernment is strong. Trust it. You will know when to speak and when to remain silent. You will know where to invest your energy and where to withdraw it. This knowing is not learned, it is remembered. It was always within you, waiting for permission to lead. As this journey completes, you may feel gratitude for your own resilience. You endured seasons of confusion without losing your compassion. You questioned without becoming cynical. You waited without becoming bitter. That balance is rare, and it is honored in the spirit realm. The warning has now transformed into confirmation. You are exactly where you need to be. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing anything meant for you. What belongs to you will meet you in alignment, not in struggle. Archangel Michael steps back now, not because protection ends, but because leadership begins. You are capable of walking forward with clarity, humility, and strength. The truth no longer needs to chase you. It walks with you. If this entire message has spoken to your spirit, seal it now. Type "I am aligned" in the comments if you receive this confirmation. Blessing code 1441 is now activated. And now, hear this final sacred call. When heaven releases light, it must be carried. When truth breaks silence, it must be sustained. I am speaking directly to those whose spirit is stirred to help spread this word to others still waiting for clarity. As you give through super thanks, by joining membership, or through the PayPal donation link in the description, you are not giving money. You are sowing obedience. Scripture declares that those who sow into the work of light will reap clarity, peace, and divine acceleration. I bless every giver now with protection over their home, wisdom in their decisions, and favor in unexpected places. Do not delay what the Spirit has prompted. Act now, release your seed, and watch how heaven responds.